We already have the basic structure of our command. We have created a new class that implements the iCommand interface, and that is calling a method that comes from another class that we created, which is the VM, the actual view model for the page. Inside of this view model, we are defining that method. During this lecture, we're going to learn how to use this command from the home page. And it's going to be very similar to the things that we've been doing so far to use data binding. I am going to start by creating a home VM object from the home page. So inside of the home page, I will define a home VM for which I need a using directive to travelrecordapp.viewModel that is going to be called viewModel. This is going to be initialized in the constructor for the home page. And now I want to define the binding context for the entire page. So far, we have been defining binding contexts for containers, for a stack layout, for example. This time, we have to define the binding context to the entire page. And because we are already in the page, all we have to do is write binding context, and the binding context is going to be viewModel. And the viewModel already has a definition of a command, which is called navigation command, or well, nav command in this case. So back in the homepage.saml, I can go to the toolbar item, get rid of the clicked event handler, and write command instead. In here, I am going to write binding, and I am going to write the name of the command. That's it. I do want to change the definition of the command that is inside of the viewModel because currently it's just a variable. We need to make this a property. And to be able to do this, all we have to do is define the getter and a setter. So inside of the curly brackets, we're going to set the get and the set, and we're going to get rid of the semicolon. And now this is a property as well. So a property can be actually bound through SAML. So it's still the same functionality. We're still initializing its value inside of the constructor of the viewModel, but now this is a property. And because it is a property, we can now bind it like this inside of SAML. So I can run this on the simulator, and I have the breakpoints ready. I am going to log in, and I still have the same toolbar item, except this time it has no event handler, but it has a command. And when I click on it, I hit the breakpoint, and the navigate button is going to execute. This first breakpoint is inside of the execute method for the command, and then the navigate method is being correctly executed. Currently has no functionality, but it is being executed. It is this easy to substitute an event handler for a command. Now that we are certain that we are executing these methods through a command, we now have to implement the functionality. And the functionality for this navigate method is very straightforward. All we have to do is navigate to a new page. But currently, we are not on a page, and it is the page, the one that has the navigation property that allows us to call the push async method. Thankfully, if you remember, the app class has a static property that allows us to obtain the current application, the current instance of it. And so the current instance also has the main page, which is a page and will allow us to navigate. So we can access that app class and its current static property that will get the current application. And the current application, since it's already an instance, has the main page itself. And the main page, being a page, has the navigation. And the navigation has the push async. In here, all we have to do is create a new instance of new travel page, which is the page to which we want to navigate. And maybe since this is an async method, we can await it. And for that, we will have to make the navigate method an async method. So we can test this out on the simulator now with the functionality included. And this time, when the navigate method is executed through a command, the navigation should be performed. Of course, first we have to log in. And we can click on the button that will navigate us, and we now get navigated again. The functionality is the same one as before. And if I click on back, we get navigated to the same page to which we were navigated before. So that's it. We have already changed one event handler to a command. We are now using a command to execute a functionality that comes directly from the viewModel for a page. This is the best practice, to have the functionality inside of a class and then call that functionality from the class that inherits from the iCommand. Since we already have this, let me stop the execution. Since we already have this, we no longer need this method that we had in here that was handling an event. Now all we have inside of this view is the setting of the view model, which is being used as the binding context for the entire page. In the next lecture, we're going to continue changing all of the event handlers that we currently have for commands so we can continue to clean up our views.